Hi friends, today I want to talk to you about how I prepare myself and my kiddo for oral food challenges. So this is going to be a mom to mom or caregiver to caregiver chat about how I've been preparing the last 2 weeks and months for the food challenge we just had recently. So this may or may not be a video that you want your kiddos to listen into. It's not that it's not kid appropriate per se, but it's just about mental preparation as a parent and all the logistic sides of things. And so I'll give you a minute just to grab your favorite drink and maybe a piece of paper and to get your kiddos situated if you need to, so that we can be prepared to chat. Well, hi, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Erin and I have been a food allergy mama for almost 6 years and the wife to a husband with food allergies and sting allergies and all the things. So I am not new to the world of food allergies in general. So we had a long journey of, let's just say we avoided foods that we shouldn't have because of testing alone. And so that led us down a long road of having to do a lot more food introductions one at a time, as well as oral food challenges. So all of that is to say that I am not new to oral food challenges. I'm not new to stressful food introductions. I say that because those first foods, oftentimes we're doing them when our kiddos are toddlers. We're still working through tree nuts as we're doing oral challenges this coming year for most tree nuts. So anyways, all that is to say, I want to go through with you my top tips for preparing for oral food challenges, things that I have learned along the way. Again, I'm not a doctor. These are just mom to mom tips for you, okay? So first of all, always follow your doctor's guidelines and guidance when it comes to oral food challenges. These are the tips I have to prepare for going to an in-office challenge. If you're having a hard time with food introductions with your new kiddo, many, like your young baby toddler, many of these tips still might apply to you, but always introduce foods under the guidance of your board certified doctor and allergist. Alrighty, first, can we just take a deep breath and acknowledge oral food challenges are hard? Can I get an amen on that? All right, whether it's your first one or you've been down the road a lot, they're hard. We've been avoiding these foods for a reason, whether or not it was suspected allergies or significant numbers of reactions and you had to rule things out. They're hard. There comes a level of stress, anxiety, and in many cases trauma related to food allergies. And so it's hard. I know it's hard. It's hard for me too. To be perfectly honest with you, I was gung-ho in preparing this video for you in the 2 weeks prior to our oral food challenge last week. And I had lots of grand plans of filming all of this the night before our challenge, and I was too hyped up. I was stressed, I was anxious, and I needed to focus on my mental health, on calming down, being present for my kiddos. And so I set it aside and decided it would have to wait till another day. So here we are a week after, and I want to go through all of my tips for you, things I recommend, and things that were really helpful for me. Tip number 1 is the mental pep talk that I have been giving myself in the few weeks leading up to our oral food challenges, and it is that we are doing oral food challenges at our doctor's office because it is the safest place possible. I know that we always think through all the what ifs. What if we pass? What if we don't? What if they need to epi? Or all the things. Most of us tend to think through all the possibilities. And it's really important for me to remember that doing an oral food challenge in the office is always the safest choice, especially because then we know how careful we need to be. We don't want to avoid foods unnecessarily, but we also want to make sure that they're safe to eat at home. We would hate to have an accidental exposure to something that we didn't know would prompt super quick, super severe reactions in a place where we weren't prepared. So even for the times that we've failed an oral food challenge, I've always found it as valuable information so that we know how safe we have to be. Do we need to be calling every manufacturer about cross-contact warnings? Do we just need to avoid the food in general? Oftentimes our doctors can give us a lot of tips and advice about how careful we need to be. In the case of my kiddo, he has a lot of food allergies, but he has never had a contact reaction that causes anaphylaxis. So if peanut butter touches his skin, we know he may get a rash on that spot, but we wash his hands off right away and he'll be fine. He knows that as well. He can touch the foods he's allergic to. He just needs to wash his hands. So those are valuable pieces of information we've gathered along the way throughout our experience. So the first tip, we're doing these in the safest place possible, and the information we get from the challenges is important regardless of pass or fail. If you are new to oral food challenges and don't know exactly what's to take place, I'll give you a quick rundown. Your doctor's office should provide you with a much more detailed outline of what they do because different practices have different guidelines. But in general, oral food challenges involve systematically dosing your child with increasing amounts of the food that you're trying to pass. So in most cases, you start with a crumb or a tiny bit of food rubbed on the inside of their lip, and then every 15 or 30 minutes, they will be checked over from head to toe for any rashes. Their vital signs will be taken, their O2 checked, sometimes blood pressure taken. And so all of those things are to make sure any reactions are caught very, very soon and the appropriate measures can be taken, whether that's just stop the challenge, administer Benadryl or Zyrtec or Epi as your doctor sees fit. So know that it's always incremental, so you'll start off with a tiny amount. And then for our office challenges at a major children's hospital, that first 30 minutes, I don't think we were left alone at all during that first 30 minutes. The nurse practitioner stayed with us the entire time. And so different offices have different ways they do it, but that's just generally how it works. Then at the end, we've always had like an hour waiting period before we go home. And different offices have different guidelines in terms of eating, no eating, snacking throughout. So those are all questions to ask your particular doctor's office. Should you bring other foods? Are there restrictions about what foods you bring? And those kinds of things. Alrighty, tip number 2 is really important also, and that is timing. It's important to identify the appropriate timing for when you have your oral food challenges in terms of if your family is ready for it. And I'm meaning more emotionally than time of year. We have had seasons where we have done a lot of doctor's visits, a lot of oral food challenges and testing of all different kinds. And we've had some seasons of life where we've been able to plow on through, get a lot done, identify a lot of great things. And then there's also been seasons where we've had to take a break. About a year ago, we went through 2 different oral challenges throughout the summer and a whole lot of doctor's appointments. And by the end of the summer, we were spent. We were tired of all the appointments. Not only were they expensive, but they're emotionally taxing. And we needed a break. And so we took about a year break from last summer until this fall without doing any new food introductions in terms of suspicious foods. I'm not to say that like my kiddo never ate anything new at all, but foods that were suspected of being a food that he needs to pass an oral challenge for, we didn't have any of those for a full year. And I found that's really important to identify for our mental health. My kiddo was at a place where he did not want to try new foods. He saw no need and he was stressed about it. And so knowing and being aware of where your kiddos are, especially as they get older and have more of opinion of it, as well as fear of those foods, it's important to really gauge whether or not you're entering in this oral food challenge with a willing heart. And so after we took that year break, my kiddo was ready and able and willing to go at it again, and he saw the value in it. If it's the situation where your kiddo's anxiety is just too high to try the food, have that discussion with your doctor and see if they recommend counseling or just waiting in general until they get a little bit older. Your mindset as well as your kiddos are all important aspects in how your oral challenge will go. If you're so super stressed out about it that you can't relax and be supportive of your kiddo, then that stress will bleed into your oral challenge and could affect it. I have seen when we have been super stressed that we can have symptoms of a food allergy that weren't actual food allergy symptoms. Stomach pain, anxiety can have a lot of physical manifestations that we shouldn't ignore. So all of that is to say, if you're at a place where you need to take a break and not do an oral challenge right now, have that discussion with your doctor and don't feel bad about it, because there will probably come a time when you are ready and able, and then you're much more likely to be successful. Tip number 3 is for both oral food challenges as well as new food introductions, and that is to have a support system. I know what it's like to be fearful of every new food or all of these challenges, and it's hard. It's a lot. And so oftentimes just having another person with you, another adult to support both you and your kiddo is super helpful. We've decided as a family that we're going to always have oral food challenges done with 2 adults present, whether that's me and my husband or a grandma or a close friend coming with us. We find it really helpful to have 2 adults. That way, if one of us needs to take a break or run to the bathroom or just get a breather for a minute, if it's getting stressful, we know that there's someone else who's got our back, who's ready and able to be with our kiddo. That's not to say if you don't have someone with you, you can't do an oral food challenge. Oftentimes there's nurses willing to sit with your kiddo while you run to the bathroom and things like that. It is doable. We just find the situation ideal if there can be 2 of us there at a time. Tip number 4 are child life specialists. If you are having your oral challenge at a major children's hospital, they often have child life specialists who are trained individuals. I think they're often psychologists or social workers who are trained to help our kiddos through certain procedures. And they are so amazing. I just love them. I wish I could interview someone who's a child life specialist for my channel. If you are one and want to join me, leave us a comment down below or contact me. But they are amazing. And we did have a child life specialist at both of our challenges last summer at a children's hospital. They bring activities, they encourage your kiddos, they help prepare them mentally and emotionally for the procedure to take place. Do know that if you'd like a child life specialist to come to your appointment, whether it's a blood draw or an oral food challenge, that you do normally need to request them ahead of time, especially for oral food challenges since those are longer. And so if you request it, go ahead and do so when you schedule your appointment, or make sure you call a few weeks in advance so they can get you on their schedule. Tip number 5 is entertainment and comfort items. So we often prefer to not have our kiddos do tons of screen time all the time, but we find oral food challenges to be the exception for this. So we bring unlocked Kindles and all the new toys and things that they haven't used in a long time. Remember, you're going to be in this little doctor's office room for up to 3 to 4 hours, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, and it never hurts to be prepared. I also recommend bringing your kiddo's favorite comfort item or blankie. You know, we usually try to keep those at home because we don't want them to get dirty or need to be washed, all the things. However, this is a good time for comfort, and so I recommend you go ahead and bring them along too. Tip number 6 is to bring a blanket. I think I mentioned that just a moment ago, but to bring a big snuggly blanket as well as a change of clothes. The clothes are for just in case, and the last time we left them in the car, but it's always good to have them. I didn't think that we were really going to need a blanket at our last challenge. My kiddo's 5, and I thought, well, he's past the age of sitting on the floor and playing with cars. Do I need to bring it? But it was actually really helpful. He was just tired. We had to get up really early in the morning to get to our appointment on time, and so about halfway through, he just snuggled up on the exam table with a sweatshirt as a pillow and a blanket over him, and then I just read books to him between each food introduction, and it was really nice. I think we both decided, my husband and I, that it was a really useful thing to have, and it surprised us how much it really was helpful. Tip number 7 is for those of you that have to travel like us for appointments out of town, and that would be food on the go. I recommend prepping all of your food for your day and bring it along with you. Sorry, my lighting got weird. So if you haven't seen my video on the HeatsBox Go, I recommend you check it out. I know that it is considered a paid promotion because I was sent this for free to review for you, but I have really found this to be the most valuable new tool we have in our household, because anytime you're going to be out of the house and your kiddo is tired, or you are tired of eating the same sandwich or crackers all the time, then you can just pre-program your HeatsBox Go, bring it along with you, and have your food ready. I used it for 2 meals throughout the day on the day of our oral challenge. I had my kiddos' breakfast prepped and in here for on the drive, because we had a 2-hour drive, and so I had it programmed before we left the house. Then I just set it on the dashboard or on the floor by my feet, and it turned on and warmed up his food to the perfect toddler preschool temperature of like 140 degrees. It was perfect for his pancakes and sausage, and then I just recharged it on the rest of our way to the doctor's appointment. Then when we were at the doctor's appointment, at the tail end of it, when we knew we were going to be leaving soon, I swapped the inner dish, had it all ready to go, and then I had our lunch warm for us to eat in the car before we headed home. It was super helpful, and it's not only helpful for challenges, it's helpful for all other days too. But check out the my detailed review. There are some limitations for when and where you can use it. Mainly they're related to temperature use, but it's super helpful and I hope you find it useful too. That brings me to my 8th and final tip, and that has to do with dinner on the day of your oral challenge. Whether you pass or not your oral food challenge, I recommend you have a plan of an easy go-to dinner for that day that everyone in your family likes and that is comforting. So I have found on the days we passed, it was great to have something already meal prepped and ready to go. On the days that we didn't, it was super important to have safe food that was ready and comforting to everyone as well. Regardless, after a full day of being on point and ready for anything, you're just exhausted. And so having a safe dinner ready that is safe for everybody and that everyone likes just takes some of the stress off. Alrighty, those are my 8 tips, but I wanted to give you a quick run through of everything I brought on our day for our oral food challenges. And so here you can see everything I brought, and I'll walk you through it all in hopes that it will help you a little bit in preparation for yours. All right, here's a look at everything I'm bringing tomorrow. Now, some of this is because our appointment is out of town, and some of it is just being extra prepared just in case. So first, our doctor requested we bring applesauce along with our muffins for the baked milk challenge. So I've got 4 cups here. That should be more than enough. Here is a lunch bag that I just got this weekend for my HeatsBox Go. What's awesome about it is that the HeatsBox Go can fit here in this top compartment, and there's enough room in the bottom to hold all 3 meal prep containers as well. So that is so cool. I'm really excited about it. Our doctor said to make sure that we bring chapstick as well as have well-hydrated skin. So this is mainly a reminder for me tonight to really bump up our skincare game just in case he has any eczema spots. I have my HeatsBox Go that I am going to have breakfast prepped for my kiddo in it, unrefrigerated in the top of my lunch bag I just showed you up here, because he's going to eat breakfast in the car about an hour into our drive. Then I'll have lunch and dinner prepped in the bottom of the lunch bag just in case for later in the day. We'll definitely do hot dogs for lunch. Whether or not he'll use his dinner, he probably won't, but I just wanted to have it just in case. Then I have the charging cable so I can charge my HeatsBox Go off the car with the converter. And so we have a converter that goes into the cigarette lighter, what used to be a cigarette lighter. And then we have a regular USB to a USB-C so we can use this or a cell phone. So we're going to have chips and hot dogs for lunch, and we have some snacks. This container is because it's easiest for my kiddo to eat out of a container like this in the car, so I'll just put his food in it as we drive. We have lots of water and snacks. These are our road trip snacks for me and my husband as we're driving. I recommend whatever audio thing is most soothing to your family members if you are going out of town. My kiddo's favorite artist of all time is Matthew West, so we're going to be having nonstop Matthew West sing-along as we drive along. I am bringing a blanket for the floor of the doctor's office just in case he wants to play on the floor for a long time. I mean, it is what it is. We're going to be there for hours, so a blanket might just be more comfortable. I'm bringing a change of clothes to leave in the car for everybody just in case we need to change clothes, whatever it may be. And then here is the entertainment section of the travel packing. So there are some things here that are because we have a 2.5-hour drive, and some are just for in the doctor's office. This is the doctor's office section. We picked out a whole slew of favorite books and puzzles to do in the office while we're waiting between each dosage. Most of this is also for the doctor's office. So we love joke books, so we bring along a joke book to help keep us calm, cool, and laughing a little bit. Some Mad Libs and hidden pictures and puzzles are one of my kiddos' favorite things right now, so we have a variety of those. Oftentimes we try to limit our tech usage. We have exceptions. Our 2 main exceptions are doctor's visits, especially food challenges, and airplanes. So the Kindle is unlocked, it is loaded with favorite games and shows, and it is ready to go. It's going to get some use tomorrow, and that's okay. Also, we love these little doodle pads. They're fun for just all the things. I'm just amazed by how far this technology has come. I think this was like $15 on Amazon, so it's really awesome. And my family gets car sick. Need I say more? So I'm going to pack all of the entertainment items in this bag so I can keep it next to my kiddo as we drive along. And we'll also bring all of it into the doctor's office to have for entertainment. And the last item is we always have to make sure we bring our EpiPens with us. So here's a look at my Allermates bag. We always just double check that we have not expired EpiPens with us for oral challenges. Your doctor's office will probably check as well when you arrive. And so that I always carry this bag in my backpack with me anytime my kiddo comes with me, basically anywhere. So this is my bag that I bring with him, and then I have a separate purse that I bring when he is not with me. So anyways, there's a real look at the house today. It is a disaster zone here, but here's a last look of everything. I'm gonna pack up and get ready for the car tomorrow. It really brings me a lot of comfort knowing that I have it all done and set aside so I can relax the rest of the day and just focus on some quality time with my kiddos and getting some good rest tonight so we're ready for tomorrow. Alrighty friends, I hope that my tips have been helpful to you in preparing for your oral food challenges, whether this is your first or one of many. I know that they can be hard. So if you found this to be helpful and want more allergy-friendly content, would you please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my new content. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!